Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhodes on the Buy Here Pay Here morning show. Take it away, you two.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Monday.
Alarm went off this morning and I was thinking to myself, goodness, it seems like it's still dark outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it like not as light out? And then I realized that we've passed the summer solstice.
Mhm.
And so it is. The days are getting shorter. And so, you know, when your alarm goes off at 6 o'clock in the morning, 3 minutes makes all the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're still on Mountain Time visiting family in Utah. Next stop, brief stop in Oklahoma before TIADA in Round Rock, which will be kicking off about this time a week from now.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess it starts on Sunday, but then the actual
lots of registration and people saying, hey, all that fun kind of stuff. You know, from my morning comment though, people can probably guess that I'm not a real, I'm a morning person.
You are.
Because I'm always like in a pretty good mood.
Yeah.
But I'm not a real fan of getting up early. I haven't been.
Yeah. Michelle bounces out. Her mind just wakes up and just goes right. She'll start in talking to me about some work thing. I'm having even.
He gives me this glazed look and see, you know, I don't enjoy getting up early. And part of it is because I, as a teenager, I had preschool activities and I was up by 5:45 every morning because I had to be to my destination by I think I gave myself like 15, 20 minutes to get ready.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, back then in the 80s, hair was a big deal.
Yeah. Well, that paid off for you, all that practice, because I've seen you turn yourself around in about 6 minutes.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. So TIADA.
Right.
Is next week. We're looking forward to it.
Hey, good morning, Bill. And Hugo, hello in Texas. No telling what. Bill says California.
Oh, so, wow. He's like coast to coast, isn't he? That guy. Sure. And Hugo said, good morning. It's okay to not be a morning person. Yeah. Right here with you, Michelle. I'm on my second cup of coffee. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be ready for number 3 probably by the time we're done with this. So,
right. So a week from today, we'll be speaking at TIADA on business planning. And look, we're going to send out, I'm going to email folks and we're going to spread the word that we'd love to have our fellow industry folks. If you're a vendor in the Buy Here Pay Here space, we would ask you to come join that session with us. And we know everybody's busy and got other things they need to attend and whatever. But
there are probably other speakers at the same time.
It turns out there are. Yeah. And but we would love to have you in our session if you can be there. I think the reason I would like to have our vendors there is because it will be an important opportunity for folks to get a better understanding for kind of what it is that you and I are bringing to the industry.
Yeah, it's a different approach.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be people who attend are going to get everything that they came for, and we think a whole lot more. So it's a good opportunity for folks to get a better understanding of what it is that Michelle and Jim are out there talking about in our Buy Here Pay Here circles and with clients. I mean, we're just trying to expand minds and really just achieve more, you know?
Yeah. It's even though we're doing the topic is business planning. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, there will be numbers eventually involved. There will be, and there's some important pieces there, but this is about like, how do you prepare to be able to do the business?
And it's kind of what we're bringing, at least a part of the session is kind of that old thing about, you know, teaching men to fish. It's like, you know, it's one thing to help you model out your business plan. It's another thing to help you know how to build your business plan, you know, time and time again, so that as you go forward, you can use those tools to, you know, better create your own business plan. And a lot of what we talk about would apply in most any business, but certainly our understanding of Buy Here Pay Here lets us really drill down into the particulars about that space.
Absolutely. And then Keith said, good morning. I need to, and I'm looking forward. I don't know, Keith, are you going to be there at TIADA?
I don't know which Keith you're talking
Keith
about.
Thacker.
Oh, good morning, Keith Thacker.
Yeah. Yeah, I obviously, include your name. Yeah. We'll shout it out, man. Yeah. We're right there with you. And so, I was looking at your announcement for today. You will not. Sorry, Keith. We'll be missing you for that. Maybe at the Buy Here, Pay Here. What are they calling it now? It's not
Super Forum.
Super Forum.
Yeah.
Right on. I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Kind of it's big.
So she's talking about what used to be called NABD is now the BHPH Super Forum, and I think it's still in November. Am I right? Are they still targeting November for that?
It is.
So yeah, hopefully we'll see many of you there. But so George Spat from Florida asks, when is talking about TIADA? Is that what he's asking about? So TIADA, if you're referring to that, is a week from today. It starts technically on Sunday the 24th and runs through Tuesday the 26th. Really a jam-packed agenda, and so we're excited.
I know that they've still got tickets. If you don't, they've sold out the block. If you haven't gotten a room, still reach out to them because sometimes they'll get cancellations and they'll be able to reassign them.
Yeah, they did tell us dealers should reach out directly from, directly to TIADA. If you're a dealer, they may still be able to, find some cancellations or whatever. And that must be Martin Gutierrez. Is that who we've got? I see. I'm not seeing the exactly who it is, but that's got to be
yes.
Martin. Yep, We'll be at TIADA. Good. Excellent. Martin, find us. We'll be around. We're supposed to be in the speaker lounge for a time, so please come say hello. And of course, we'll see one another.
So should we get to the what the meat of what we're here for today?
Oh yeah,
and it was I loved your title. The tide will soon rise in buy here, pay here industry. What does that mean for vendors and dealers, and how might consumers be affected?
Yeah,
it sounds kind of doomy. But it's really great news.
No, it's great news. So it's basically just kind of the reason I say the tide will rise, because I know that, Jim and Michelle and a number of other participants in our industry, share this idea that, all ships rise, and we've talked about it. So when this phrase about all ships rise, or,
there's a lot of different, buckets for that to apply to, but
yes. Yeah. So for us, what that means is, the entire industry gets better when we all work together and kind of support one another so if I just keep it on the vendor level for a minute, if we work with our fellow vendors, fellow podcasters, fellow, all the industry people,
and get rid of oh my gosh, it's competition, because it's not. I mean, there's plenty of pie out. I mean, it's like, there's just so much that all of us can do to help, and we might have a little bit of a different message, or we might have a little bit of different something. But it's
right. So it's I think and look, competition's healthy and natural. There's no problem with that. It's just that there's plenty of business for, all the vendors to get, their opportunities. So, so I think when we support one another, if I think about what's of value to the dealers, like when you've got an industry working together, when your software provider's working nicely with your GPS provider, when your GPS provider is working well with your consulting team, or, training,
and your DMS.
Yeah. It's just, the industry gets better and dealers benefit directly when, all of us in the vendor space cooperate. And by the way, that extends to the state and national associations too. We've got to make sure when we're providing training, it just seems to me like there's a lot of competing, training providers out there. And so when we can all work together, then we can definitely
on the training side, I just want to do a quick shout out.
Sure.
TIADA is on their FTC safeguards.
Right.
The Independent Dealers podcast did a really great just spotlight on that. And so if you haven't, I mean, we touched on it when we talked to the folks there, and but they did a really great spotlight on that. So if you haven't listened to that and you aren't sure what, I'm sorry, this is a squirrel.
Yeah.
But if you aren't sure what the FTC safeguards rule is, listen to that. That's going to give you some good information.
Yeah.
And Texas is working hard to be able to educate everybody.
That's right. And last Wednesday, we had Jeff Martin from TIADA on. He touched on it as well. So, there's limited time before we can, we just have a limited time. I think it's December when that stuff goes into effect. And so dealers can take those courses online.
Texas, all ships rise.
Yep.
They're out there like, we'll help everybody. Let's get this. Yeah. Let's get this information out there so that
Good morning, Chris Mayer. And so you'll remember we met Chris at San Antonio last year. So good morning to you. Yeah. Glad to have you listening in this morning. But yeah, this whole theme about, all ships rise is really about just, when we all work together and kind of support one another in creating better solutions for dealers, then, we talk often about how it seems to be the same few thousand dealers in the buy here, pay here space. And sometimes it's not even 2,000 dealers that are, kind of active in this industry, or, whether it's in their state association and leadership or attending the conferences. And, folks are out there trying to get educated. I think what we're really saying is for those who wish to get educated or plug into the latest resources and so on, then that opportunity is going to be getting greater and greater. The tide is rising on that. Our friend Tommy Brandis has talked about, 3 years ago, there was very limited education and training solutions in this space, and it's growing. There are new providers stepping into that space. And I think what you're hearing from Jim and Michelle is that we're going to continue to work to try to bring those folks together. That's what our BHPH Nation is all about.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
If you haven't registered for that, please just jump on bhphnation.com, throw your email in there, and then we're working on the architecture and the things behind the scenes.
And our intent behind that is to create a site that is easily found by, 2,000 people of buy here. That's like that's a 10th.
Yeah.
That's a 10th of how many dealers are out there. And so let's figure out a way to be able to bring them in and give them good education, because everyone is going to benefit if they can find it for free and if they can find it easily. And that's actually one of the things that I was I've really been impressed as a novice since getting into marrying into buy here, pay, is that like the groups like Buy Here, Pay Here Success. Write these down if you're listening in like podcast land or on YouTube. Buy Here, Pay Here Success BHPH Success and BHPH Boardroom are two of the really great groups out there that all you have to do is just, answer a couple of quick questions and then you get in. And I love how someone that is newer, or even someone that's, medium or been in there for a long time, might have a question. It's like, I don't know what to do. And then they will post it in these groups, and just a slew of dealers just kind of all coming in. It's like, here's what's worked for us. Here's what's worked for us. And it's this whole thing of, I love watching that dealers are helping dealers, and it's just beautiful. So if you are not part of these Facebook groups and are a Buy Here, Pay Here dealer, oh my goodness, what a great resource from other people that are dealers.
Yeah, I think one of the challenging things about that whole Facebook environment is that you get one person who's a newbie throws a question out there, and you get 5 different answers from 5 different dealers, which is a representation of all these different business models and approaches. Those can be out there. One of the things that we're going to be working to do is, and we've already started approaching dealers about becoming mentors on our platform, where we can make, we can connect new folks or folks with a certain need can jump in there and find a mentor, a paid mentorship. There could probably be some free mentorship in there as well. But basically we're trying to, find experienced dealers, and especially dealers who operate in an ethical way, which is the big thing that Michelle and I try to bring, is make sure that, because there's lots of different business approaches. We're only thing with us is we're going to at least vet, dealers that we put on our mentorship platform to make sure that they operate ethically and that they're recommending, ethical practices. And now dealers will be able to plug into that, even if they're brand new. So
it's all about, we just want to give. We want to also give opportunities for all of those all of those dealers to be able to, it's like, how can we be better?
Sure.
How can we do this more effectively, more efficiently, more whatever?
Right.
And it's like, everyone's going to benefit from that. I was talking with, we were over at my brother's house last night, and, they were asking, how are things going? Cause we haven't seen them for a little bit. This first time we were able to connect here in Utah since we got back, since being back here in March. And we were talking about, we're really out there to try to change the perception through changing the regular buy here, pay here dealer. And this is more of an ethical and being community centric and customer centric. And they're like, we don't understand. And I said, okay, so think of Matilda's dad.
Yeah.
That's what most people think of when they
You're
think
gonna have to explain it.
Those of you who've seen the movie Matilda, Danny DeVito played the dad in Matilda, and I mean, it's just like the worst of used car salesmen.
Yeah.
And I mean, the worst. And so they like, their eyes were like, oh yeah, that needs to shift.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what we're hoping to be able to do. That's what our goal is to, help dealers be better and help dealers, and
the best way I know to do that is to show them a path that you don't have to do business like that. There's a way to do business over here where you treat the customer well, you provide a good product, good solution. The customer's with you for many, many years. So sometimes it may sound like, Michelle and I talk a lot about this idea of, bringing heart into your business. Many of us operate our business from our head, and that's necessary. But when we also start to introduce the heart piece into our business, and now what we're trying to demonstrate is you can do that. You can create a following of raving fans. And so in the end, it's good business. Like, we sound like we're just out here talking about, all this soft kind of, and we're just saying it's just good business.
It's good business.
And I would say that the smaller your market is, the more true that is.
Oh my gosh, the more impact you can have.
Right.
And I mean, the more raving fans. And so this whole idea of all ships rise is really about vendors, it's about dealers, and it's about customers. That, I mean, everyone, as we really work together to improve the industry, as we work together to make it show more heart and just being supportive and better towards each other, and not feeling like this that there's no competition or conflict. We talked Friday about, why do we make it hard for people to pay?
Right.
That's the opposite of all ships rise. That's like creating a conflict. It's like, let's get these things out of the way and help people, all ships, all of us, succeed and be better.
Sure.
In the process.
True. Yeah. So now you can connect the dots on, when we say all ships, we're talking about every level, vendors, dealers, customers. Everyone can benefit when we all, put ourselves into it, and give freely to it without this, perception that, I can't give away something because, then somebody else will benefit from something I've learned and I had to pay the price for it. Well, that's how we all get better. It's how the industry gets better, as we freely contribute. And we know there are plenty of dealers out there doing it. Like we see it in these closed Facebook groups. There are plenty of dealers out there giving freely, and sharing knowledge. And so that's just kind of the thing that's our kind of our rally cry, our kind of our.
And
our
one of
theme.
the things, when we talk about like free, we've made the choice that anything that we can teach on a podcast or like to a group of 100 people that doesn't include homework and all of that, we're just going to give that. It's just that that's stuff that everyone should know, period. Right. It's like, that's just stuff that everyone should know. And, we're here to help. Right. Help guide you to the right things to watch or to listen to if you need help, or we're here to help you implement the stuff and all of that. And so part of what we with the Buy Here Pay Here Nation, when that goes live, it will be like $9 a month to get in subscription, but all of the dealer track will be living in that, and the only access will be through that low subscription. So all of you who are currently in the dealer track, starting in August, that price will drop down to $9 until we are ready to do and go live with the Buy Here Pay Here Nation.
So Michelle forgets that not everybody knows what you mean by the dealer track.
Oh,
that's
and the Buy Here
that's
Pay
our
Here
track
Institute,
of education inside the BHPH Institute. So, currently we have subscribers at the BHPH Institute paying $29 a month, and the feedback on that has been excellent.
Yeah.
But we're basically just moving the institute inside the BHPH Nation, and so we'll drop those folks who've been paying $29
for the dealer track,
to $9 and have a nation membership instead, which means they'll get not only the institute, they'll get all this other stuff.
Yeah, and so if you want to get in there, I mean, starting August 1st, it'll be dropping down to that. So if you haven't already gotten in, please feel free to subscribe then, and then we'll be communicating with you as we make that shift from one to the other. But it's like it's so important that people start to get as much information as they can on how they can be a better dealer, better at their numbers, better at their processes, better at a lot of different things. So yeah, BHPHinstitute.com. And that August 1st will be dropping down to $9, which will be the Buy Here or BHPH Nation's subscription rate.
Yep. Oh boy. Tyler, Tyler in Texas. I'm assuming that's going to be Tyler.
Okay. So Tyler, I have Jim's like last night. He goes, "Is that done?"
Technical problem.
Well, here's the thing, and I gotta figure if those of you who know me know that I'm like a is it a pit bull, or I grab onto something. It's like, no, I can do this. I downloaded the thing from Adobe Rush, and it was 5 gigabytes big. And it's like nothing will let it download it in, and it's like, I know I've done this before. Problem. So it's coming, Michelle's Tyler. Technical problem. It's awesome, and that is. I'm gonna put the day. I have spent a day and a half.
Don't put a day.
I'm not gonna put a day. Jim's like, if all else fails, send it on to Fiverr and see if they can put it together.
We'll put the word out. Listen,
my time is worth something.
Folks are going to want to hear this. Brent Carmichael from NCM. He's been a featured guest with us throughout this hardest questions in Buy Here Pay Here, and we definitely got to one of the harder questions, and we had Chris Tiller. Many of you in the industry know Chris from Car Financial. Been with them almost 20 years, and wow, did we get into some really great stuff.
Oh, it was so great.
There are times that we get into those and we just think, okay, we got to have you guys back again, because we can't sit here for 2 hours and continue on this. But
it's an hour-long podcast, and there's still so much more to unpack in what was said.
But we just so much good stuff. And so Brent and Chris were really generous and kind of they're talking through. So find it.
If you want to get access to it the moment, because we always it takes more time to get it to download to the podcast stations, but it always goes in first to YouTube. And so if you want to know when that gets in there, you need to go to YouTube, go to the Octane Group's page in there, and like and subscribe, because it will send you. I mean, I've liked and subscribed our own thing, and I get notifications every time we put something in there on my phone. So if you want to see it right as soon as it's ready, or any other content that we put out there.
We basically have 2 playlists. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is, I think, Jim Rhodes, if you just look up Jim Rhodes BHPH, I'm sure it'll find that channel. And then within that, we've got 2 playlists, or there are multiple playlists, but there is a Tote the Note playlist, and then there is a BHPH Morning Show playlist.
Do they just subscribe to each of them, or just the channel?
Period? I don't think so. I think if they just subscribe to the channel, they should be able to get. You might be able to set special notifications inside the playlist, but once you choose the playlist, you can follow that playlist.
So I mean, if we've intrigued anyone out there in listener land to this podcast, seriously, go to YouTube and do that, because as soon as I've got it figured out, and it is like that, even if I have to go to Fiverr today and get it done, I'm going to get it done. So
we can kind of help the listeners understand what they're waiting for. In this podcast, in this topic, we really went deep inside this whole thing that dealers are wrestling with higher car cost, especially about, so do I do I raise my gross profit and my selling price? Do I raise my payment? What's the impact if I try to
lengthen the
do
loan?
down payment? We went through all that. Like, what is the formula?
Yeah, it was really cool. And I know that that Chris and Brent are longtime colleagues and friends.
Right.
And there was a couple of times that, we went into some topics and Chris was trying to say the more like, I don't want to go deep into this. And Brent's like, Chris, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
say it the way it is.
Brent is basically
really,
for all
really
practical
good
purposes. He's our co-host on that series of
on the hard
questions. Yeah. And so he definitely is able to step in there and join me in asking those questions.
And there's some good ones in there. We've got a bunch in there right now under the hard questions that have not been released to the Tote the Note podcast,
right.
But you can see them all. And there's some good ones. And we had one where it was Ken Shulson and Brent.
Right.
It was on why Buy Here Pay Here doesn't have blue sky.
Yeah.
And there were 3 episodes for that one topic, and then one about AI and one about data.
I would say that this is one of the areas that you're going to find also is a theme for me, because it's been on my radar for years. This whole thing, I get frustrated watching dealers approach retirement and have to basically liquidate assets. And so that was what that series that she's talking about, the blue sky piece, is like. I'm frustrated, and I'm just kind of going to be a bulldog on that subject and just, kind of stay after that to figure out we should be able to create more blue sky, more translatable value in our business. And thankfully, there are some great tools coming around that will help dealers do exactly that. But that's part of what we're trying to do. Is it's all part of a theme that you're going to see from us. Is we're out there just trying to help dealers create more sustainable businesses that can be an asset in their community for decades. Yeah. And so how do you do that? So we're working on creating the tools for dealers to do that. Good stuff in
there. And there's lots of other stuff in the YouTube page. Jim's been doing little shorts for years.
Yeah.
And so there's just some fun stuff in there. So enough of a plug about YouTube.
Yeah,
but it's another one of those all ships rise. That's all free content. Just it's absolutely free content, and just
watch it.
Get in there and watch it. And I think that we talked to vendors, dealers, consumers, or the customers. All ships rise, and we're just really, all of you out there as vendors and dealers. This really isn't a podcast for the customer unless they are like, hey, I want to know what my dealer's thinking. I don't know. Really, we're going to put it out there. The challenge to just, it's a beautiful time for us to step forward and be the solution and be a helper and help in that process of improving this industry.
Yep. And we're going to give you 2 very specific ways to do that. We've already given 1, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Number 2, write your check to your state association. If you've not done so already, put that in your stack of payables. Write a check to your state association. Make sure you're a member and support what they're doing, because there's a lot of there's tremendous need right now, and the state associations and the national are out there doing the work on behalf of dealers, especially in this area of compliance. And it's important for dealers to understand the value of the voice that is the state and national association.
I mean, just their voice being on the state capitol and the nation's capital.
That alone is
worth the check to write. Yeah. Because who else is there?
Yeah.
There's nobody else there representing you.
You can run through all the names of the people that in the industry, at the top of the industry. Well, it doesn't matter whether they're, a coaching firm. It doesn't matter who they are. They do not have the voice on Capitol Hill,
that
as a lobbyist, and the state and national do. And so it's just really important to, if that was the only thing they did, they do much more than that. But if that was the only thing they did,
it would be worth every penny.
Yeah, for sure.
Every penny.
So we just think that's a good place for dealers to start. Is just make sure you're a member of your state association and get involved.
And if you don't have much of a state association, do what you can to get one.
Sure.
Like rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of dealers in every state. And we've seen some states just don't have a very, large or effective state association, it's like it's you as a dealer can step in and help create that as well.
And this particular year, Michelle and I have not kept up with all of the associations and their conferences, but I would just say that, you know, if you're a state conference or you're in leadership with those folks and you have an event coming up, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the morning show. We love to talk about that stuff and get your people
a little plug
informed.
for your state association.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just one more example of what we mean by all ships rise. We're out there to support those folks and help them to help you as dealers. And so
we
that's
want
what
nothing in return.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do nothing in return. It's like everyone, I think that, there's a bunch that are coming up here really soon. And it's like, we just want people to know about them and to go and to do it. And as we grow our viewership with the Tote the Note, with the Buy Here Pay Here morning show, with the Buy Here Pay Here Nation, I mean, our intent is let's just really help people know where they go, where to go, where to get more help, and where to get more education.
Just people it's important for people to understand when they hear us say that we're not in it for a buck. Like Michelle and I have our ways that we create revenue, and that education is just not something we're trying to make a living from. It's just, you know, what we do is as coaching and implementation, you know, that's really where we make our living, is helping dealers kind of do the hard stuff. And so all the stuff, like she said, if it's something we can do on a stage and teach 100 people, then we're going to make it available for free. And that's just part of how we're going to educate and try to leave this industry better than we found it.
Yep. Absolutely. You know, our time is up.
Okay.
And it's a great Monday. I feel a lot more awake than I did when we first started.
Yeah, me too.
The blood's pumping. Jim's like not glassy eyed. It's fantastic. It's going to be a great week. We're glad that you guys joined us today. We will see you on Wednesday. It is White Hat Wednesday.
Yep.
And we're still in the makings of about what's going to be happening, but we have something that's cooking for that. Be watching to see what it is that we're going to be doing. And again, have a fantastic Monday, everyone, and
enjoy your Monday. Hope to see you, or you'll hear us on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Talk to you later. Bye.